Thanks very much. So I'm very thrilled to talk about this project. So it's the Intergalactic Utilities Commission, and I just welcome the members of this commission to be on stage. So we are not complete here. So a few members of our small community are missing, for example, Peter Cook and Greg von Kuster, that can unfortunately not attend this conference this year. So we just want to introduce you in this community. So this community were created to actually somehow derive or develop standards for tools. So tools is a very important part in Galaxy. And without tools, Galaxy would not be able to be successful as it is today. And this community is taking care of that, and this is our talk, how we introduce this community to you. So, who we are. This is Daniel, Dan, okay, whoever Dan is. So Daniel Blankenberg, Dave Bouvier from the Galaxy core team. We have Brad Chapman, Peter Cook, whoever that guy is. So James Johnson, Edward Curtin, Nicola, Soranzo, Eagle Eye. We have Eric Rasche on board, Youri Hoogstrate, that also unfortunately cannot be here, Marius van der Beek, Antonio, and Saskia. So these guys, you can find them on this repository here, and we collect tools that or very high quality tools that sticks to standards, that we adapt frequently to new versions, that we adapt frequently to new features of Galaxy. And most of the tools are also available on usegalaxy.org and probably already on your computers. So during the dinner evening on Monday, there were a huge screen with many, many Galaxy instances, and it was quite funny to see all these Galaxy instances with tools IUC's tools installed. So just have a look and check out this website. What we're actually doing is not only tool development, but we care mostly about standards, so how to develop good tools. We develop guidelines, what we recommend to use, for example, which packaging system, if it's good to use select versus booleans and so on. We maintain a lot of tools, but we also develop tool infrastructure. So for example, what we saw in the history is that, for example, R packages, if we depend on some tarballs of some R packages, they simply disappear. And if you try to install a Galaxy tool, we try to access this tarball, and it's just not available anymore. So the sustainability chain, which we try to promise in Galaxy, just breaks simply because the upstream package disappears. And this belongs all to tool infrastructure, and the entire IUC community was developing a lot of projects to solve this problem. For example, Eric developed the cargo port project, where you can submit a pull request and we archive your tarball, and this tarball can then be used as definition for your tool dependencies, so that we actually repair the sustainability chain in Galaxy. There were many other projects, like the bioarchive project developed by Nitesh, that tries to archive all bioconductor packages at once to make them really sustainable. But over the time, we also adapted orphan tools. So there are many tools in Galaxy that are very useful and well written, but not maintained anymore, so you don't get updates. And this is kind of a problem because you have this namespace, you have a tool, but if the maintainer disappears for some reason, this package doesn't get updated. So what we established is kind of a procedure how we can adapt such packages. We just need to get write permission to this repository. We'll host the code in the tools IUC GitHub repository, and we push to this namespace, if this is allowed. So if for some reason you don't have the time to maintain a package, a tool for Galaxy, you can approach the IOC community to take over your tool so that we can maintain it over the time. And what is, for us, I think the most important part is make tools usable. I mean, everyone can write a tool and just define the parameters as they are, maybe in an alphabetical order and so on. But this is not actually what we want that a tool looks like. So we want to leverage as much as usability as we can to a tool. For example, we try to hide many advanced parameters that might be confusing for a beginner on an advanced section, so the user doesn't see these confusing parameters. And all these topics we try to collect, we try to write guidelines for that, and we try to document them. Talking about standards, we have a repository, Galaxy IOC standards, read the docs, where we collected all of these. And we highly recommend you, if you are a tool developer, to visit these websites. We try to update these guidelines as the user interface in Galaxy changes, as we see new difficult programs popping up. As you see here, we have guidelines for how to design tool IDs that they are unique, so that they can be used by an administrator, but are not complicated for the tool developer. We also have guidelines for coding styles, how you design your XML file, and so on. So, yeah, look at these standard sites if you're interested. The bigger project is how we try to imagine tool development works. And for that, Chilton developed for us this awesome tool called PLANEMO. There were a few workshops already, and the IOC community is providing these workshops to the community for tool development. So PLANEMO is a tool, a command-line tool, that really assists in developing tools. So PLANEMO is tightly integrated with the standard, with the GitHub repo. You can lint your tool, so actually, even starting before, you can generate a tool, or at least the scaffold automatically with PLANEMO. Then you can lint the XML syntax, so you can check if your XML syntax is valid, if it sticks to your standards, to our coding style. You can test tools automatically without having a Galaxy production or test instance running, so PLANEMO has all this integrated. And last but not least, you can publish your tool with PLANEMO to the toolshed. So this is a one-stop shop. Install PLANEMO and you are more or less ready to run to develop your own tool. We're driving this project a little bit further. We have many recommendations we implement directly in PLANEMO. So you can think of PLANEMO like a reference implementation of our best practice guidelines. So if you use PLANEMO, you are pretty ready to develop awesome tools. And we highly recommend to use PLANEMO in our workshops. And yeah, if you want to create a developer workshop, we have all these material online. You can just take it or just get in contact, and we will help you to organize that workshop or giving training sessions. But what is most important about the IOC community or the IOC repository is actually our contributors. So this is a huge community, and we are just a few representations that try to develop these guidelines. But actually the GitHub repository is where we live. And these are our current contributors. You see many well-known faces on this page. So this project is not very old. It's 1.5, 2 years old. And this is what we achieved in the last 2 years. So we have nearly 3,000 commits that are just caring about tools, improving tools, documentation, etc. We have 47 contributors, and we have a well-established packaging, tools, testing framework that you can just take and build your own communities or just contribute. Just to give you a few examples, We have nearly 600,000 closed pull requests collected over the years. We have still 38 open, so happy to, if you want to contribute, review, just dive into it. Just to highlight a few tools. So there was this extreme effort. This was a community effort that was finally be finished by Saskia to add the entire mother tool suite. I'm not sure how many tools were there, 125 tools developed by a big community. We changed 270 files. We discussed that issue with, I don't know what the number is, a lot of discussions, reviewing what's going on with this pull request, and finally we merged that 2 weeks ago. We integrated automatically pushing to toolchats from this repository. So actually, if a pull request is now merged, it gets automatically pushed. So this should be way easier to develop tools now if you contribute to the tools IUC repository. We added the Kraken tool suite very recently, also many different complex tools. There was a huge effort, actually led by Eric Rasche, to annotate our packages. So these tool dependencies packages with proper checksums and moving all these packages into CargoPod to make them really sustainable, to archive all tarballs, which we rely on. And we migrated all our 300 packages which we have collected to CargoPod, checksums in, so to make it really, for the next years, unbreakable. And all these efforts are led by a community. So, and this is what is great on IOC and where we want to get you involved to help us to contribute tools and to make tools or the tool ecosystem in Galaxy better. What we also established late last year is we do a lot of these online hackathons. So we started actually with a demand, or we saw the demands that Galaxy integrated collections last year, and many of these tools were not really collection ready. So we needed to update a lot of tools to make use of new features in Galaxy. So we decided, hey, wouldn't it be nice to organize an online hackathon so everyone can participate? We will teach people how to use collections, how we need to adapt tools to make use of collections, and then just come up with a list of tools that are very important, like Bowtie, Top Hat, and so on, and make them collection aware. So we had this idea and just thought, okay, let's try it. Let's try in September, 2 days. The IOC will be there and we see who comes up. Incredible 30 participants joined this hackathon and reported a lot of tools over, and this is what you see nowadays on your Galaxy instance. If you use Top Hat, Bowtie, HiSet, they are all collection ready and you can use these collection feature. And this is, I think, a great effort. But we have not stopped there. So we thought, okay, this was a huge success for a first online hackathon, and we thought, okay, let's do that again. So we tried to come up with a specific hackathon for metagenomic tools. And what happened is we even had more participants. So we started actually the mother wrappers, the Qiime wrappers. We had a lot of like diamonds. So all these metagenomic tools, we had a list of them and tried, okay, either we need to improve that or we need to get it in. And I think this was also very nice. And also a lot of new contributors that are now regularly contributors to the tools IOC. So for example, if you look at this guy's, Tiago, he just organized the third hackathon. So he said, okay, I need a lot of RADSEC tools. And I'm struggling in getting them in, and I don't have time to get all these RADSEC tools in. So yeah, we stepped up and developed our third hackathon specifically for RADSEC tools. And this is what comes out. So we had 8 participants. The very great French community contributed a lot to this. And nowadays we have even a Rasche Galaxy flavor. And as I know from the hackathon, a Rasche Galaxy tour is also available. So this all kickstarted as an IOC contribution hackfest. So if you have ideas, just let us know. The fourth, or our last contribution hackfest was actually Conda dependencies. And I will shortly now talk about what the future is, and Conda is the main part of that. So actually the future is now. We had our IOC meeting 2 days back, and we decided a few things, like how we want to improve guidelines, standards, and so on. But I think the main message, what we also want to announce today is rest in peace, tool dependencies. So tool dependencies will be supported for the next years because we don't break backwards compatibility. But at least the IOC community will not make it mandatory to submit tool dependencies to tools. It's enough to use Conda packages. And Conda packages will be the future of Galaxy dependency handling, and we recommend to use these Conda packaging system. But we will also support Docker, as you all know. And Docker is also a solution for the question before, how we can make tools more secure. Because even if you install a tool that contains some bad code or whatever, or dangerous code, if you run it in a Docker container, it just runs in a Docker container and has no access to other files. So Docker might be a solution here. And the tool IOC community will support both technologies. But we also come up with a lot of new hackathon ideas, and we really encourage you to submit new ideas for new hackathons. For example, we outlined a plan to help the Galaxy P community and create a specific hackfest for proteomic tools. We will get the Qiime and EMBOSS wrapper running, and we plan to make with the data hack people a dedicated hackathon to improve just tool documentation. So for example, the help text which you see in every tool, it's probably worth to spend a few days to just improve the help of every parameter to make our tools even more usable. So please get in touch. We have, since today, a GitHub channel to make communication with us more accessible. So we really invite you to join this community. So this will be my last slide, promised. This is how we imagine new tool development workflow looks like. So you have your specific tool, let's say Bowtie. You need to create a Conda package, and from that Conda package, we will just store everything what that Conda package needs. So the tarball, the source of the compilation, we will store automatically on an FTP server to make it accessible over time. We will create from this Conda package automatically Docker containers for you. That is also done. This is called the Malt project. And then if you have the Galaxy integration, you get flavors more or less for free, and you can put in a Galaxy tour as well. So this looks quite complicated. It's way simpler than you're used to be, but please imagine, in reality, it looks like that. As soon as you have the Conda package, everything what we showed before happens completely automatically, and it's all tested. So we have, for every project, we have continuous integration tests for you, and in practice, it looks like that. Even better, so the reality has proven that it more or less looks like that, because you can assume that the Conda package is already there. So we think that in a few months, you really just need to write the Galaxy integration, and you will get everything for free. The Docker container, the continuous integration testing, the toolshed integration, the Galaxy Docker flavors. And we try to develop that further. We try to maintain that, and we just welcome you because we love this community, and we love tool development. So if you have a tool, submit it to Tool IOC or get in contact with us. Thanks a lot, and thanks especially to these guys here. Question? Was it when or? So usually we announce these hackathons as GitHub issues, and we fix the date as GitHub issues, so you can subscribe to these issues. What I would recommend is just subscribe to the Tools IUC repository to get notifications about that. We haven't yet a fixed date. We need to coordinate that with other communities, but it shouldn't be far away. And we agreed to make these hackathons now more or less constantly every 2 to 3 months. So yeah, expect some progress on this side.